Hello residents, my name is Angie Galonia and your town hired me to investigate why your fish were washing up on the beach dead. So thank you for having me, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about my findings. First of all, I noticed that there was a computer store in your town that shut down about 2 to 3 months ago. Their store sold printers and computers, right? So here's a picture of the store. It's called Bob's Computers. So then I was going for a walk on the beach and looking around, thinking about how could these fish wash up on the beach like that? And while I was walking during my land investigation, I stumbled across this pile of circuit boards, which I thought was really suspicious. So I hired a scuba diver to do some deep sea digging. So you can see here, there's a picture of all these circuit boards that are just on the ground. Lo and behold, he came across several computers that were thrown into the lake which our town's residents have been swimming in, fishing in, and enjoying for the past 345 years. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe the fish are dead due to high exposure to a carcinogen known as polychlorinated biphenyl, otherwise known as PCB. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about PCB. So I'm sure you're wondering what they are. First of all, they're man-made chlorinated industrial chemicals, and they're used in electrical transformers, hydraulic fluids, lubricants, and carbonless paper. And as I mentioned before, they are also in circuit boards. So typically PCBs are derived from biphenyl, and here's the formula here. You can see it's how it's made. It has the formula C12H10, and it's sometimes written C6H5. In PCBs, some of the hydrogen atoms in biphenyl are replaced by chlorine atoms. There are 209 different chemical compounds in which 1 to 10 chlorine atoms can replace hydrogen atoms. So animals that eat PCB contaminated food, even for short periods of time, suffer from liver damage and may die. In fact, in 1968, we found that 400,000 birds died after eating poultry fed that was contaminated with PCBs. Animals that ingest smaller amounts of PCBs in food over several weeks or months can develop various things like anemia, liver, stomach issues, thyroid gland injuries. Other effects of PCBs in animals include changes in the immune system, behavioral alterations, and impaired reproduction. This is something that I found about PCBs that was very concerning. It says stem cells known as normal human neural progenitor, and its NHNP cells develop into 3 types of brain cells. You've got neurons, which receive and transmit electrical signals via axons and synapses, astrocytes, which manage neurons, surrounding environment, and oligodendrocytes, which produce myelin. And that's the fatty sheath that insulates axons. TH is known to control the timing of the oligodendrocyte differentiation. So a research team in Germany exposed NHNP cells to 2 PCB congeners and observed their effects on cell differentiation. And what they found was that when the cells that were exposed to PCB 118 prematurely turned into oligodendrocytes. This finding strongly suggests that PCBs may facilitate the binding of coactivator proteins to cellular Th receptors. These proteins then mimic the action of Th. So ironically, a surplus of, we'll just call them the ODs, early in brain development may lead to death later, because if there are proportionately fewer neurons, many of the OGs can't wrap around an axon or reproduce. So what happens is they undergo apoptosis, or otherwise known as programmed cell death. And what that means, the end result is a drop in the total number of brain cells. So let me tell you what that means in layman's terms. Basically, when you are consuming fish that are infected with this, you're ingesting what they had, right? So by eating those fish, you're killing your brain cells. PCBs build up in the fatty tissues of fish and cause developmental and neurological problems in fetuses, babies, and children who are frequently exposed to small amounts of the chemical or when the contaminated fish is consumed. Also, more than 1.5 billion pounds of PCBs were manufactured in the United States before they were banned in the 70s, but because they take so long to break down, they're still breaking down in the environment, and there's still some electrical equipment that's used that contain them. So now we'll talk about something called a micromazole enzyme. So PCBs induce microsomal enzymes. So the effects of exposure to PCBs or other compounds, it depends on the oxidative metabolism. For example, pre-exposure to PCBs can enhance the liver toxicity of some chemicals. Other interactive effects include increased metabolism and excretion of the pentobarbital, increased genotoxicity of numerous carcinogens, increased duodenal ulcerogenic activity of acrylonitrile, and increased kidney toxicity. Enzymes produced from the cytochrome P450 gene. Sorry, let me back up a little bit. The initial metabolic pathway includes the oxidation of PCBs to OH-PCBs, so they bind with OH-PCBs through the P450 enzyme. So that enzyme is like the catalyst through which it oxidizes. Enzymes produced from the cytochrome P450 genes are involved in the formation and breakdown of various molecules and chemicals within cells. Cytochrome P450 enzymes play a role in the synthesis of many molecules, including steroid hormones, certain fats like cholesterol, and acids used to digest fat, so our bile acids. Additional cytochrome P450 enzymes metabolize external substances such as medications that are ingested and internal substances like toxins that are formed within the cells. Cytochrome P450 enzymes are primarily found in liver cells but are also located in cells throughout the body. Within cells, cytochrome P450 enzymes are located in a structure involved in protein processing and transport, that's in the endoplasmic reticulum, and the energy-producing mitochondria. The enzymes found in mitochondria are generally involved in the synthesis and metabolism of internal substances, while enzymes in the endoplasmic reticulum usually metabolize external substances, primarily medications and environmental pollutants. It says, although fish can metabolize some PCBs, the pollutants not metabolized or excreted instead accumulate in the fish's fatty tissues, So because it's accumulating in their fatty tissues, when they're being consumed, you guys are consuming them. The purpose of this investigation was to evaluate the probable cause of death of the fish that washed up on the beach on Lake Pleasant. The physical evidence we found, along with examining the dead fish, revealed prolonged exposure to high levels of PCB. The results suggest that some of the observed histopathological changes in renal glomeruli could possibly indicate a prolonged chemical stress caused by PCBs. It is also possible that chronic PCB exposure may have suppressed and weakened their immune systems, making them more susceptible to secondary parasitic infections. So chances are they went into renal failure. They had some sort of parasite infect them, and that is what most likely caused them to wash up on the beach. So I will take questions now if you have any questions. Thank you.